I have twinkly lights in my fort now. There's snowflakes. Probably can't really tell the shape. Anyways, this is my fort. You've seen my fort before, but I'm slowly adding more things to it to make it more and more 14-year-old me's favorite dream, I guess. Being an adult is kind of awesome. A horror story. Varian is an Urfane hunter. His job is to kill Urfanes and bring their eyeballs to the magistrates and governors of the settlements nearby the forest for payment. It is a gruesome job, but he is an ironically safe companion for me to have on a journey through the forest. I can't help but wonder if Varian is Denna's final stab at victory. At nightfall, we light a fire and each enjoy a small dinner from our own stores. Varian takes out a long pipe, leans back against a tree, and starts smoking. So how did you find Elena's den? I look up at him strangely. Her home, you mean? He grins. Both are good, but I prefer Denna, although Elena is more experienced. They are prostitutes. I really should have been able to guess that for myself. Fool. Why should someone so talented and able as Denna resort to prostitution? She could easily marry if she wished, and if not, she could support and protect herself and her mother with her own abilities. Varian laughs. You are new to these paths, boy. He puts his pipe down and leans in. It is a tragic story, especially for one so young and beautiful as Denna. I lean forward, eager to hear Denna's secret. Helena and Denna are the two most despised people in all of Tarlin. I listen wide-eyed. Helena was once almost as beautiful as Denna. She was captured by the rebels when she was a young teenager. Because she was so beautiful, Larcus claimed her as his own. Strangely enough, Helena fell in love with him deeply. Larcus became fiercely possessive and obsessive of her. So much that she was given her own tent near his, and he bedecked her with jewels and fine clothes. I hardly dare to breathe as Varian continues his story. Elena despised all the other slaves, and clung tightly to her lover as though he were an angel in disguise. But even Larcos' favor can dim, and when Princess Mercy was captured, Larcos dragged Elena out of her tent and gave her to his men. He pauses for his pipe. When Mercy escaped, though, he took her back, but not as before. He never gave her back her tent. He forbade any other men to touch her. He took her back, but was far rougher with her than he had ever been. He leans forward, but Elena remained faithful, doing everything he asked her, even when it meant giving up her newborn child to be slaughtered by him. I swallow hard, trying to stomach this twisted tale. After the death of Larcus, the camp was deserted except for one woman, pregnant with Larcos' only child. I try to breathe, sucking in air that my body refuses. No one would marry Elena, for everyone, even the rebels, hated her for her prideful and contemptuous treatment of all others, except for her lover, who was her only friend. When Larcus died, she built herself a house on the spot where his tent had been, and was the only one in Darlin to mourn his death. She raised her daughter by using prostitution to survive, for men need no love to enjoy that woman's beauty. My blood begins to boil at Varian's lustful words and his horrid tale. As Denna grew up, she became a better prostitute than her mother. She also became wild and untamed. She has her mother's beauty, but her father's unbounded spirit. He grins. Many have sought to tame her for themselves, but she despises all men. She despises everyone, even her mother. She sees her as weak and gentle. Elena is a bitter woman, but Denna is twice so. She is despised by all and outcasted, for her father is the one man of Tarlin whose death was celebrated by every man, woman, and child in the land. He leans forward. In this country, hate goes deep, deeper than love, and Denna has nothing but hate in her. I stand up, unable to hear any more. Stumbling away, I choose a large tree to hide behind and sort through these muddled thoughts. I long for my mother's wisdom or my Uncle Raelif's counsel, but they are far from me. How could this be true? The one girl I have laid my eyes on and cannot forget, Larcus' only child? The child of my father's murderer, who I have done nothing but curse all throughout my life. Yet I fell for Denna. The story is so twisted and unwholesome. I can barely hold my dinner inside me. I wonder if Elar loved Larcus. I whisper, the ridiculous thought suddenly occurring to me. Foreign concept, to be sure. How can Elar love a man who murdered his own children, planned the torture, death, and enslavement of hundreds? Varian's words ring in my ears. Hate goes deep, deeper than love. But I saw in Denna's eyes more than hate, or greed, or even desperation. I saw a light of curiosity, innocence, and the love of the wild world. But what am I even thinking? Her mother's lover murdered my father. Her father murdered mine. Where does this hate begin and where does it end? In Elena and Denna's breasts? Are they to pay for an evil man's folly? Until all has been paid back, every evil for justice, until the stench of Larcos is repaid tenfold. Thank you. See you later.